Welcome to my chambers. Last week, the Inspector General of the State Department issued a scathing report about the comportment of Hillary Rodham Clinton when she was Secretary of State with respect to her use of emails. As everyone by now knows, she caused an information technologist at the State Department, she paid him $5,000 to do this, to migrate her public email account to a private server and her secret email account, the one that contains a means to communicate top secret information from a secure government venue to the server in her home. That migration of the secret email account containing top secret, and confidential information is likely the crime of espionage. Mrs. Clinton had argued that what she did was allowed, her phrase. The Inspector General, whose job it is to keep officials in the executive branch compliant with federal law, has rejected that argument by demonstrating conclusively that what Mrs. Clinton did was not allowed. She did it secretly. She did it on her own. She didn't ask for permission, and had she asked for permission, would not have been granted. A couple of interesting things came out of this report. One, Mrs. Clinton used a BlackBerry rather than a laptop or a desktop. And because it was her own BlackBerry and not a government-issued one, it was disabled whenever she was in her office on the 7th floor of the State Department building. So think about it. Whenever the Secretary of State was in her office as the Secretary of State, she was not able to communicate with ambassadors and consuls and colleagues around the world. In order to communicate with them, because she insisted on using her own BlackBerry, she had to leave her office with a security detail, go down to the 6th floor, stand in a hallway, and engage in her emailing under those circumstances. We also learned that there were times when her server went down in her home in Chappaqua, New York, and therefore her BlackBerry went down. And when she was offered a government-issued BlackBerry, she declined to use it. The reason is always the same: fear of the Freedom of Information Act, fear of disclosure, fear of her boss, President Obama, and her colleagues outside her inner circle in the State Department, and the press, and the American public knowing what she was doing as Secretary of State. All of that is in the hands of the FBI, which will interrogate Mrs. Clinton as soon as the New Jersey and California primaries are concluded next week. What will come out of that interrogation? Probably a recommendation to present what they have to a grand jury, and that should lead to an indictment. Welcome to my chambers. Fight the good fight.